In this demonstration, I will be showing you how we've used FileBound to request and process equipment requisition. So this could be expanded into a CapEx type solution as well. In this one specifically, we're going to keep it very simple to give you an idea of what can be done. If I run a search on this project, this equipment requisition project right now, we'll see there's one that's been finalised, there's one that's currently been approved and is in processing, and a new request here. What I'd like to do is actually go through the process from the start. So using FileBound eForms, and we'll use a couple of different components today. One will be the eForms and the other will be workflow. Right, so here's the simple eForm. Obviously this can be tailored to meet the needs of the organisation. Here I'll come through and choose the person making the request. We want a new, there we go, new amplifier. I'll add in here, it's a new practice amplifier. Preferred supplier, actually I'll just go Marshall amps. Estimated cost, I'll put in $2,500. I do actually have a web link. So that'll just help the person who then has to go and order it, make sure they get the right unit, whatever it might be. Out of date, any other comments if needed. I really need this because I blew up my last one. And we submit that form. So right now that form, as you can see from the insert there, is going off down the initial part of the workflow. Now I'm going to be playing the role of everyone, and there's Angus Young's request there. So assuming that I am now the approver, I've got a couple of options. As you can see in workflow, I could place it on hold. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to review it as such. Here's the form that was submitted. Now you'll notice this form's slightly different. We've got an office use area down the bottom. I could come in here as the officer and say, okay, the allocated budget was $3,000, and I'll just save that form. I'm happy to approve it. Once again, I could place it on hold, which means that over here, this status would update to being on hold. Just close that one down. Or I could decline it. Now, in the case of declining it, the requester would get an email to say that it's been declined. If I approve it, which I'll do that now, the system will record who approved it. So if I refresh my page here, in theory, this would now go off to the person to process it. So here we can see my status has been updated. The approver's been recorded as to who approved it. That'll be the user that was currently logged in. I'm obviously currently logged in as administrator. And then we've got all the other information there. You know, being the person that's going to go and order it, I've now got a URL, a web link I can go and look at to make that purchase or process that. Now, something that did happen in the background is I received an email. Yep, so I've received an email to Angus. Hi, your request for a new practice amplifier has been approved and will be processed. So this can obviously be tailored. It's just letting the requester know that their request has actually been processed. You'll notice here the description's been automatically plugged in. Let's delete all of those. And then from there, what I'd like to do now is actually simulate the person who has to process it, then asking the approver a question. So down here in the file notes, I'll just put my initials and say, do you want me to order this from the supplier in the link or our preferred supplier? So I'm just passing a note over to the person that was the approver, just to confirm, obviously, the question that I've just asked. So now I'm the approver. This has come back. I can see that it's at the query approver step, so it's not one that I have to approve. I've already approved it. Obviously, my options here are different to being an approver step. Down here, if I refresh this, our status will update to query approver. And then I can see here, there's a file note. So I'll come and have a look. Do you want me to order this from the supplier in the link? And I'll just say I'm the approver. Preferred supplier, please. So that passes the note back. So now, once again, playing the role of the approver, I click return for processing. It goes back to the processing step. So our status is updated. This has come in to me for processing. I have a look at the file notes. Okay, they want the preferred supplier. Great, I'll go order it from the preferred supplier. Once I've ordered it, raised a PO, and it'll then go down, assume it'll be accounts payable process. I would click on requisition finalized, and then now that's finished workflow. And we've also got a new email that's been created and sent to Angus, which is saying that the request has been finalized. So all done and dusted, the order's been placed. So now if I come back in and I refresh, I run another search on the equipment requisitions, we can see here we've got, if I sort by status, one that's approved and at processing for Brian Adams and his new 6-string guitar from the Five and Dime, 2 that have been finalised. Bob Dylan wanted a new TV and Angus has got his amplifier, and a new request from George Harrison for Yellow Submarine from Beetle Industries. So there's a quick and easy way for you to find what's in the system. You could quite easily then come and do a search on that for anything that's not been finalised. So that'll just knock the 2 finalised ones out. So if I had 50 in the system that were active, it would, but there was 200 that had been completed, because let's imagine this is 2 years down the track, I could run a very quick search. In fact, I could make that a saved search, which would then show me everything that's currently in the system and where it's at. So that's a very basic overview of how we would potentially do an equipment requisition in its very simplest form.